So what if I told you that the key to a really successful Ramadan is actually the month before it? Today, we're going to dive deep into a month that, let's be honest, many of us kind of overlook. It's a spiritual gateway that, if you get it, can honestly transform your entire year.
Okay, so we all know about Rajab, right? It's one of the 4 sacred months. And of course, everyone is laser-focused on Ramadan. But what about that month that gets sandwiched right between them? That's the big question we're tackling today. What is the secret of Sha'ban? Why is it the month people so often forget?
You know, it was actually the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who first pointed this out. He said that people are often heedless of Sha'ban, and the reason is because it's stuck between these 2 spiritual giants. But as we're about to see, that very fact, that people are distracted, is the key to unlocking its incredible value.
So, where do we start looking for answers? Well, as always, the best place to begin is with the Prophet's own example. How did he treat this month? Because his actions, well, they reveal the whole secret.
The first huge clue comes from his wife, Aisha, may God be pleased with her. She said that Sha'ban was the most beloved month for him to fast in, outside of Ramadan, of course. And he didn't just fast a few days here and there. He would actually connect his fasting in Sha'ban right up to the start of Ramadan.
And this wasn't a one-off observation. It's backed up by another of the Prophet's wives, Salama. She confirms this exact pattern, saying she never saw him fast for 2 whole months back-to-back, except for this pair, Sha'ban and Ramadan. So this was clearly a deliberate, consistent practice.
So the main point here is pretty overwhelming, right? The Prophet would fast most of Sha'ban, sometimes even the entire month. This wasn't just some casual act of worship. It was a deeply dedicated practice that really set this month apart from all the others.
Which of course leads to the big question, why? Why this month in particular? The answer, as we're about to find out, reveals 2 incredible secrets that make Sha'ban just so uniquely powerful.
And thankfully, we don't have to guess. The secret was revealed when one of his closest companions, Usama ibn Zayd, noticed this pattern and just straight up asked him about it. He saw the Prophet's incredible dedication to this month, and, he wanted to understand the wisdom behind it.
And the Prophet's answer lays out the 2 core secrets perfectly. First, it's a time when people are collectively distracted. And second, it's the month when our entire year's worth of deeds are presented to God. Let's break down what each of these really means. Okay, let's zoom in on that first secret, the power of worship, when everyone else is, well, not paying attention. There's this profound spiritual idea here that when you do something for God when most people are distracted, that act has a special status and a much, much greater reward.
I mean, this slide just lays it out so clearly. Think about Ramadan. There's a community buzz. Everyone's in it together, which makes it easier. But when you worship while others are going about their normal lives, it's harder. It takes more personal drive. And because of that, it carries so much more spiritual weight.
So what makes these acts so special? Well, for one, they're often more sincere because they're hidden from everyone. They're also tougher, and we're told the best deeds are often the hardest ones. It really shows a deep personal commitment. Some scholars even said that the worship of just a few people during a time of heedlessness can actually bring protection to the whole community. And this statement from the Prophet just drives the point home so powerfully. He compared worship during times of turmoil, or you could say widespread distraction, to the reward of making the hijrah, the migration to Medina for the sake of God. I mean, that's an incredible comparison. It just shows you how significant this is. Okay, so now let's get into that second reason the Prophet gave. This one is all about divine timing. It's about our annual review. Every single thing we've done, our actions, our intentions, our efforts for an entire year, are all presented to God in this specific month. And as you can see here, there's a real rhythm to this. Our deeds get presented daily, and they get presented weekly. But Sha'ban is the grand finale. It's the annual culmination, the moment the record of our entire year goes up to God. This really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? If you knew your big annual performance review at work was coming up, you'd want to end the year on a high note, right? The Prophet's desire to be fasting at this exact moment shows he wanted his year's work to be sealed with one of the most beloved acts of worship there is.
So what does all this mean for us? This isn't just some interesting spiritual trivia. It has a very real, very practical application. It turns Sha'ban into the perfect gateway to Ramadan.
Here's a perfect way to think about it. You know the voluntary or sunnah prayers we do before and after the main obligatory prayers? The voluntary fasts in Sha'ban are just like that for the obligatory fast of Ramadan. They're the warm-up. They get your mind, your body, and your soul ready, and they help perfect the main event.
I love this timeline. The early scholars used to describe it like a spiritual farming season. Rajab is the month for planting seeds, making all your good intentions. Sha'ban is the month for watering those seeds with action, fasting, prayer, giving. And Ramadan, well, that's the harvest, where you get to reap all the incredible fruits of your preparation.
And this is the key takeaway. It's a total mindset shift. Sha'ban isn't a waiting room for Ramadan. It is the preparation. Someone who just stumbles into Ramadan without having prepared in Sha'ban, well, it's like showing up for a harvest you never even planted. So, we'll leave you with this thought. Now that the secret of Sha'ban is unlocked, now that you know it's a time for sincere worship, a time to seal your year's deeds in the best possible way, the question isn't just what Sha'ban is. The real question is, what will you do with it? How will you use this gateway to welcome Ramadan this year?